what's up, guys? Welcome to your favorite podcast, Chiquis and Chill. This is sad news, bittersweet. It is our last episode for this season, but we will be back next season. I have a lot of surprises for you, so stay tuned. But anywho, today's episode is a very special one. I have two of the most important people in my life, two women that I love very much, and we're going to talk about everything that has to do with daddy issues and some mommy issues as well. Maybe you can relate. I don't know, but let's get into it. Here is my sister, Jacqueline Rivera Campos.
We'll figure it out.
Okay, Jacqueline. This is my sister, Jacqie, and Jenicka Lopez.
Hi, guys. I'm excited.
So I've had them on the podcast before individually, and now I realized one day, oh my gosh, I hadn't had them together, and I wanted to talk about things that I've dealt with, and as I'm getting older, are coming up. Mm-hmm. Things that I didn't think, or things that I thought I healed, things that I didn't feel were an issue, and now I realize through therapy and everything that they stem from my childhood.
Yeah.
So it was my idea to bring my sisters on and let's talk about daddy issues. And yesterday on our group chat,
that was crazy.
I was flying. Yeah, it was pretty intense on that group chat. I was like, oh my gosh, thank God I was flying, because I got bombarded with like 50 messages. And then Jenicka, you mentioned mommy issues. Uh-huh. And mind you, guys, this is not to make our parents look bad in any way. That is not what we're trying to do. These are real things that happen. And my mom did her best. And my dad, in a way, I guess, did his best. I can't speak for them because they're not here to defend themselves. So this is just what we have lived and what we've experienced without making our parents look bad. Because that's not the point here. It's something that really does happen.
Yeah.
And it's
real.
real.
I think people like see it like, damn, like they take it the wrong way.
Right.
And it's like, it seems like we're excusing it, but it's like, no, we're not. It's not that. It's just, I think we've come to a point of healing and understanding that we're able to talk about it. Because it's, people can, it happen. I feel like it's normal. It happens to everybody. Everybody has mommy issues. Everyone has daddy issues, and, has their own experience.
Yeah. So, talking about that, okay, so daddy issues, okay, stem from complicated and unhealthy relationships between a father and a daughter, whether he was an absent father or abusive, or there was an unhealthy bond. All of these can cause issues in romantic relationships later in life. So that's what we're going to talk about, because we hear it and people throw it around and blah, blah, blah. But this is real. This is real. And I can tell you, I'll start off.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, because I'm the eldest. I'm the eldest sister.
I picked
so I'll start off. It really, I think, more than anything, I started realizing as I got older that I had issues with abandonment. Abandonment issues. And definitely came from my dad, how he just disappeared with no way of getting a hold of him. I did feel abandoned. I felt abandoned by my mom a couple of times.
Abandoned.
You were. I was. We were. Mm-hmm. So I think those were things that started showing up in my relationships.
Big time.
Where I would maybe push them away first before they tried. Yeah, before they. Right? Does it happen to you?
100%. Like, I'm not gonna get hurt. So.
Yeah, and you know what I've noticed? That I've gotten better.
Yeah,
bringing my guards down, being a little bit more vulnerable, a lot more vulnerable. I think there's a lot of power in that. I talk about it here on the podcast all the time, but I've realized that a lot of things that I let slide with other people in my relationships, I don't. I'm very, very firm, very, very yes.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm like, damn, where does that come from? Is it still am I scared to be abandoned?
Wait, what do you mean?
A protective, if she gives grace to certain people when they make mistakes, but not in her romantic relationship. She's harsher or harder or
I am
more.
harder. Mm-hmm. I am harder. And it's more of I got this shit. I'm not going to let you hurt me sort of thing.
And your defenses are still up.
Yeah. So I don't know. And I don't like that, because it's it's not cool for them to feel, I don't know. Emilio has...
they're paying the price for...
Right. And he's told me that before, and I have gotten better, but there are things that I just don't tolerate elsewhere, but in my relationship... I tolerate elsewhere, but in my relationship, I'm very, very stern. I don't know how to explain it.
I don't know where that would be from, though. Mm-hmm. I don't get where it's
I think it's a defense mechanism. for sure. I don't know if it has to do with, maybe it has to do with abandonment. Like you feel like.
Or maybe that you're just at a point that you're not going to tolerate. You can't, you just don't have the capacity to tolerate it in a relationship anymore. Because you've already been through so much there.
Maybe. Yeah. Now I think I'm like, it's my age, been through a lot. I know what I want. I know what I'm not going to deal with. It's kind of like either you're here to give exactly what I give or you're not. Because
a relationship, you're with that person every single day.
Yeah.
Like you could tolerate it somewhere else. Exactly. You could tolerate someone in somewhere else because you're never going to be with that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't know where that would come from.
I know. It's just something that came up, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it is a defense mechanism, but it's also, I feel like with the abandonment thing, I'm a lot better.
You are.
A lot better.
Okay.
What?
But it's weird because, I don't want it to sound rude.
Okay.
But I think we all equally do not like to be alone.
Yeah.
You push people away, but you don't like to be alone.
But you know what? I swear to you, I feel like, not that I want to be alone now, but before big time, I couldn't be.
Before, that's what I'm saying before.
I didn't like to be alone. I needed someone, whether it be an assistant or a friend, or I was always with someone. I didn't want to feel the absence. And then when I got separated in my first marriage, that really did teach me to be alone, and it's okay, and I could get through anything. But yeah, I know I do better in relationships. Like I'm a serial monogamous. Like I like love. I love love.
Yeah.
I do better being in a relationship than not being in a relationship.
No, but I was saying it's interesting how you have like the abandonment, but you push people away, but you want to be with somebody. You know what I mean?
But why though? Because see, this is the thing.
I don't know.
No, this is, you guys, we didn't plan this. We're just like, seriously, we're throwing the ball back and forth.
She put her cards down. She's done.
I put my cards down. I was like, you know what? F this. I'm just going to have a conversation with my sisters. This is real. And I don't even know where this conversation is going to go. It's just, I just wanted to talk to my sisters. And I was thinking about that because I feel like in friendships or other people in my life, without saying names, and I know you guys know who I might be talking about, there are things that I don't like about the person, that don't make me feel good, that don't sit in my spirit, but I keep them around.
Yeah.
Like what, why? But in a relationship,
you're ready to stay away from, that's it. You're cut off.
Because I don't think you can tolerate it. I just feel like in that area.
I'm tired, huh?
Yes, in the relationship love area, you can't tolerate anything anymore.
I don't know if you can't tolerate it. I think it's that your relationship is the place you're supposed to feel safest.
Exactly.
And when they do shit that makes you, so sorry.
No, say shit.
When they do things that make you feel unsafe.
Yeah.
You're like, no, I'm not going to do that. But it's not that it's because you love them less. It's because they're supposed to be your safest place. And it reminds you of when you first didn't feel safe.
Because the other people, you can keep them out.
Yeah, they're not as important. Not that they're not important.
It's not as intimate.
Exactly.
Yes. It's not as intimate of a relationship. Okay, yeah, because...
Which I think is really crazy. Like, I think not having a dad... Because there's different types of daddy issues, you know, and ours was completely absent. He was gone. You know, I think you remember more than I do, but it's crazy that not having a father is something that stole our feminine energy. Like, and then having a mother that was who she was and as strong as she was.
Yep.
It's like we're double battling. And I didn't think that fathers are the ones that teach their daughters to have feminine energy, but they do if they love you right.
If they love you right. Yeah.
That's so crazy to me.
1,000%. Yeah. And that is, I feel like that's my problem in dating right now, is that I do not know how to be more feminine.
It's hard.
It's very hard. I'm finally have stepped into my feminine energy with Emilio. It's such a beautiful
thing to see.
Because he makes me feel safe. Yeah. And if I don't feel safe, dude, I don't know, some toxic ass shit comes out.
Exactly.
But because I feel safe with him, I'm able to step into submissiveness. Is that even a word?
And it doesn't feel like submissiveness.
Yeah. And I feel like, okay, I want to make this person happy. I feel like I never thought that I was going to change my name. I am Janae Sanchez now, officially. And I was like, can I be Janae Marin Sanchez? And he's like, no, I want you to be Sanchez completely. And I was like, okay, he deserves it. Okay, fine. I'll do it.
And it wasn't a fight.
It wasn't a fight.
Yes.
But with someone else, it probably wouldn't have
Yes. Do you know what I mean?
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Finally, I can be like, fuck, I can rest, I could breathe, bitch. Like, you know? Like, I feel like, oh.
That was very feminine of you.
You know? Thank you. So, but yes, Jenny, but here's the thing. It's interesting because Jacqie, our experience with our dad is weird. And I don't know if you guys can
And
agree.
I think ours is very different.
It's very different. Yes.
I fell into people pleasing because I didn't want to lose more people.
I was a people pleaser too, though.
I agree with that too. I felt like because I lost both of my parents, I had to that was my fear of abandonment. And because mom wasn't always present.
Yeah.
Mom was always gone.
She's a busy guy.
I relied on mom to be both my mom and dad, and she couldn't be. So it's kind of like, damn, like I don't know, it's weird. It's really weird.
Do you remember your relationship with your dad?
I remember bits and pieces. I know that I was loved.
Mm-hmm.
Do I remember feeling loved? I don't remember. I only know that I'm loved
because everyone tells
everyone tells me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's harder, but that's also because my memories. My dad passed away when I was 11. When I was Johnny's age, when mom passed away. So it's a lot of you know.
Yeah, so you don't have specific.
No, but I know I don't remember any him hurting me or anything. But I do remember.
He loved you so much.
I do remember a lot of him and mom's relationship. You know, they were friends, but it wasn't. I never saw a loving relationship ever.
By that time,
I've never seen a healthy marriage in my life. I don't think any of us have.
No.
I've never
So I was so scared to get married for so long.
That's freaking scary.
Yeah, it is. I mean, okay, because and the second part of that question is because obviously the dad that I'm talking about is Juan Lopez, which to me that's your father, without taking anything away from your biological father.
Right.
But when that happened, when that came about, and you found out, I know you went through a lot. Did you feel? How did that affect you in the way you see relationships, or even mom, or or Juan Lopez, your dad?
Process.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think things come up to this day, as in relationships. I'm just I don't know. I'm so good by myself, and I think that's a problem. I know how to be by myself, that I can be home for a week and not want to go out or whatever, and I'm fine with that. But I think that's a thing. I'm scared to go out and be rejected, or also those people go away as well.
You rather not even
I'm comfortable. Yes, exactly. I'm comfortable with where I'm at, and my friends, and I'm okay in my space. I don't need it, but then I want attention. I want to be in a relationship, but I don't and I think that's because I'm so used to not having those figures in my life.
Right. So to me, yeah. That
so
makes sense.
And I'm so used to being my own I'm used to being my own boss. I don't have to
tell anyone where
I don't
you're
have
going,
to tell exactly.
But you're willing.
I'm willing. I'm absolutely willing.
Because because being too independent, I've learned is not good in a relationship either, and that's what we saw with mom. And I've realized respectfully that I looked and I was thinking, because I know we were going to talk about this, I feel like I do have more mommy issues than daddy issues. Why? I think because we spent more time with mom. Mom had to be our mom and our dad.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm so compassionate about her now, that I step back and I'm it wasn't easy being in her position. She needed to be tough. She needed this because if she wasn't,
didn't even get to be in her feminine energy.
Exactly. She couldn't, because the guys that she chose.
And I think that it comes off we're just very
the independent thing.
Empoderadas. We're just we don't take anything. I don't think any of us know for an answer. We're just
we have very, very strong characters.
Yeah. And that comes off intimidating.
Yeah.
All of us. And sister, it comes off intimidating. At least for
me.
If
I am.
You are now.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've stepped into your own for sure. Before, you were a lot more submissive. I feel like there's balance, you know?
But I do feel I don't like to hear no. So that's empoderada. That's
you're just I don't know, I feel and I said it to everybody in the group chat the other day. It's I feel we've gone through too much already, where we're just over it and we're not gonna take it
yeah,
we're not gonna take people's BS.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And more, everything that we've lived has also
exactly. That's why when you were saying about in your relationship, like you're tolerating things, is because we're just already like, we've been through too much to like.
Yeah, I think finally in my relationship, I'm still a strong woman, and he knows it and he likes it. But I've also learned to be soft, because a man needs that. You need to feed the king in a man in order for him to give you everything. It took me a long time to learn that. But also, yes, he also knows, as much as I love him, if there's something that's not making me happy, if I don't feel emotional stability, if I don't feel safe, security, if I don't have those things, and no me estás conquistando, which is where the whole Que Siga Pasando song came from, because I'm like, I need that. I know myself. I need you
to always
don't
catch
set
my
a standard
attention that you're not going to keep.
Don't get comfortable.
Yeah.
Yep.
And vice versa.
And that's
I
the
can't.
worst,
yes.
honestly.
Don't get comfortable where you feel, I have her in my. I know myself, and I know what I like. And if you're not giving it to me, I'm not saying that I'm going to go out and get it, but I know my history, and I know, I'm like, if you're not feeding all of this, I'll do the same for you.
Yeah.
The eye wanders. And that's why we got to, on my end, I want to take care of him and make sure he has everything he needs, and make sure that he's getting laid as much as he wants to get laid, and, feeding him and taking the time to make his coffee, all those little things, leaving
details.
notes, all that stuff, so he doesn't have to look anywhere else.
Yeah.
But it took me a long time to accept that and be like, what? Because I would be like, why is this pattern? Why does this keep happening? Because there's things that I needed to change from things that I saw in my childhood, because I never saw a healthy relationship either. And we had said, we want to break this shit.
But I did want to add, while you guys remember, I wanted to add that I think it also, where you're at now, it's work that you've done, but it also, a lot of what he's done. Like he's not intimidated by the strong woman that you are.
No, yeah, exactly.
So it still allows you to be who you are. You're strong because you saw mom be that way, because of how life molded you. But then because he's not intimidated and he embraces that, it allows you to just sit back and like, okay, then I want to.
Yes.
Because you're not having to guard that person. You're like, okay, let's venture into what it could be like to be feminine and loving and
Yes.
He's not señalándote.
Right. No se siente como, no, he doesn't feel inadequate. He doesn't feel inferior. He doesn't feel those things. And it's like he knows who he is, and that helps.
So because we had a crazy traumatic like upbringing, and we are all together and we have siblings or whatever. And what's the difference you see in Emilio, because he's an only child, and like, is he as broken as we are?
No, I think he's done a lot of the work.
Because he doesn't have. Does he have daddy issues? Because he doesn't have his dad in his life either, right?
It doesn't seem like it.
No? That's crazy.
It doesn't seem like it, but because he had a very present Nino. His mom's brother stepped in and was like a dad. And not only that, there's two brothers, and they stepped in. A lot of the family, they're very close.
Okay.
So they all helped him, and he never felt like he was missing a dad, I think, because he always had.
Wild.
Yeah, honestly, his mom did a wonderful job with him. Mind you, Emilio will sit here and tell you, he's like, oh, I was a narcissist, and I was this, and I was jealous. And
really?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
No way.
Yeah, it's insane. He's like, I know people can change, but you have to recognize it first. He's like, I was a narcissist. I cheated. I was a liar. I was this. I was that. He's like, but I was ready to say, I want something different. And then you came into my life. And it so happened to be that I was ready. I was like, I'm ready to do this. And that's why I think it's worked. But
he don't got the issues we got.
It doesn't seem like it, no.
Well, that's
he
good.
doesn't realize.
Great. Congratulations for him.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, right? He doesn't realize, like, I mean, I think with being with me, he's like, oh, shoot, like, all this happens in families. Like,
at least it didn't scare him away.
It didn't.
That's my fear.
Patient
person.
I have a lot of baggage.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm going to be too much.
Yes.
So you will find the person that is willing to carry the bags with you.
And that's what I've seen with him.
Help you,
because I've seen you be a little toxic, and I'm like, and then he's just very patient. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah. Yes. The one thing that he is, but I think it works out for me, is that he's needy.
Oh, and yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
And it's like, sometimes I'm like, okay, babe, we're both very needy of attention and touch and this and that, and it works. But it took so long to get to that point, you know, like to find someone, you know, I like to get to that point.
Because then if you're too needy, then you feel like, man, this person's
I was
you feel like you're doing too much.
Why did it take this long?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it turned out.
How old were you when you met him?
35, 36.
Okay. That's a long time to wait for someone to like match your energy.
Yeah. But I've also realized that it's because I had a lot of things I needed to heal. I needed to heal a lot of things. And I would overcompensate a lot in relationships because in a way I don't want you to leave. You know, I want like
that's such a crappy feeling.
Yeah. So wait, what do you have any daddy issues, Jacqie?
Yeah, I do. I seek validation. And that blinds you when you don't. It blinds you from seeing the red flags.
Like you excuse behavior.
Yeah.
Same. That's what I used to do.
Yeah, because I just want somebody. I want, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if the person detaches, then I feel like I'm gonna overcompensate. Like let me show you, let me prove to you.
Okay, so now my question is how are you showing that to Jayla?
You know what?
Because I'm
not ready. No, I feel an urgency.
Patterns. Yeah,
I feel an urgency to heal. Something about because I'm married or I felt like, oh, I'm healed. No, not at all. And I can see the same patterns in Jayla, and I thought it was insane because she has 2 dads, and I was like, oh. She's good. She's not going to have the issues I have, but that's not the case.
Yeah.
So I have to be an example, and there's like a sense of urgency of like, you need to get it together because I can see certain things.
Yeah.
That sucks. But we're going to get there. We're going to get better. We're going to heal.
Yeah. Cause what I try to figure out is okay. Cause we had dad, right? We had dad. It's going to sound weird, but he was a really good dad. He was attentive. He wanted to see us every weekend. Like he wanted to be in our lives.
Yeah.
And he had no issue with cooking for us. And I learned a lot of my organization skills come from dad.
Wow.
Mind you, he did what he did. You know, he had, I feel like it's a sickness. Yeah. So I don't know, you know, so, but then he left. So I've been trying to think about like, okay, I have a dad that loves me.
I feel like you compartmentalized. Like the dad that loves you, because there's certain things that I remember. I don't remember a lot, but there's certain things I do remember, and it was fun. It was pretty. It was like music. I just remember
he
a lot
taught about music. Yeah.
Yeah. But then there's the other side. So
but
that's probably compartmentalizing.
Are you excusing it?
I don't think so.
No?
Excusing what?
Like I'm saying, like does this fall in excusing behavior? Because he was a good dad, but he also did what he did.
Yeah.
So then a lot of people would say we are, and sometimes I think like, is this a trauma response because I want to forgive and I don't want to hold a grudge? But again, you've never been that way.
I've never been one to like hold grudges or anything like that. Like
to anyone who's hurt you, not just this person.
And to a fault, because sometimes some people don't deserve to come back into my life. Yeah. And I just keep, it's okay. And I kept allowing it. And still to this day.
Is that a trauma response from what we lived? I don't know.
That's
it's so much. It's like a.
Yeah.
I think it's also that maybe I'll speak for myself. I know that I'm not a perfect person. And I've made mistakes as well. So it's like we overextend grace and know that people can change.
Yeah.
So it's like we also hope that, you know, that person changes.
Like we have that faith. We give people the benefit of the doubt.
Because we've changed or we know we've done things or, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. At least that's just me.
Yeah. I mean, we're figuring this out as we're here, guys. We don't have all of the answers, and I think that's something I'm going to ask Tanya, my therapist. I'm gonna talk to her about it. Like, hey, and it's weird because I feel like in a way I've healed a lot of it it's a lot better, but there's still little things that linger. Yeah. That if I don't continue and I don't like exercise it, like it's a muscle, my therapy, then you start, backtracking a little bit. And I've noticed that I'm like, I need to stay on top of it.
Shoot, that's
true.
Yeah.
I need to stay on top of it to get checked, to just, get that reality check, I guess, of, because these are things that are just, I guess in a way, like in the depths of us.
It's a generational.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like okay.
If they didn't do it, then it's our job to heal and break it. And once you have children, I'm not even joking, it's like a mirror. Like you'll see them desarrollándose in the good stuff and in the bad stuff. And then you have to ask yourself, wait, do I do that? Is that like something learned? And a lot of the times it's like we think we're good people because we don't, do certain things, or we don't steal, or we don't do these things. But like once you see your kid, I'm like, shoot, like, damn, I gotta fix this because I still do that.
Yeah.
But
that's why I think fun. I waited so long to have kids.
Because is it like you're waiting to be better so that?
Honestly, it wasn't even that. Now that I'm older, now I'm like, okay, now I feel like I've done the work. I think that I can hopefully raise a super child, in my mind. Obviously, things are going to happen, but I'm like, okay, I feel ready. But for so long, I was afraid. I don't want to have the same problems I had with, for instance, mom. I'm telling you, like I had a lot more because I was so close to mom and lived so much longer with her that I guess there are more issues there because dad just did what, and he left, So I think for a long time, I was just more afraid of,
out of fear of like you don't
even
want to
having a daughter. Exactly, repeat the cycle. Now I'm not afraid. Now I feel better about it. But I think for sure, I'm like, I need to figure this out before I even bring another child into the world.
Sense. I think it's also understanding that I think we're learning as we're growing as we're learning right now in this moment. Like we've come to realization things, and I think that's gonna happen. And for a long time, I think for the rest of our lives, like we're gonna learn something about ourselves, and then we're gonna see where it comes from, and it's like, okay, how am I gonna fix it now? Here in this time of my life before my daughter, or even with you, like how are you gonna heal that part of you with Jayla now that she's 15? So it's like I think we're all like, I don't think it's ever gonna stop. Like the healing isn't ever gonna stop.
Yeah, no, there's always gonna be something. Where I always say we evolve and we grow and, the whole thing. So, Jenny, do you feel, Jenicka, so I call her Jenny. Do you feel that you, like you said, it's more of the rejection thing? Because I've always looked at you like, I'm glad that Jenicka learned from us.
I agree.
You learned, like, even like Johnny tells me this all the time. He's like, I saw certain things and I grew up and I knew what I did want and what I didn't want thanks to my siblings, to my older siblings. So do you feel that way with
I feel like
experience?
Because I wasn't
You're welcome.
Sorry. No, I feel like because I didn't see it in mom, like I didn't see a healthy, I did have to learn from you guys and your guys' boyfriends. And also living, I don't say it like in but I did have a lot to learn from, even from my brother. How you guys treat your partners or whatever. Like I had to just, it wasn't like intentionally, but it's also like I know what I want and how I want to be treated and what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And I'm not. It's like you guys. You guys are my older sisters. Like
and I'm proud of you for that, because I see it more of what I pray for all the time for you is for you not to go through what we went through, and that when that guy comes around, he's ready. I don't want you to go through the heartbreaks that we went through.
Yeah,
I
don't have the capacity. I don't have it. That's why I think like I haven't dated in so long, because I can't.
You can't fathom going.
I can't. I don't want to. Like I'm tired.
Her heart.
Because you've been through so much.
Yeah,
you lost your dad, your mom, the whole thing. Yeah.
It's okay.
No, it's okay. No, but that I feel like you're not meant to go through what we went through. You're a lot smarter. I feel, and I say that with so much respect, sister. But you're so much smarter. You're so independent. like, and I'm not just saying this because you're my baby sister and I fucking love you, but I feel like everyone could see you're gorgeous. But not only that, like you have so many great things to give that I'm like, I just want that guy to already be ready. He's preparing himself the way you have so that once you guys come together, you don't have to go through the bullshit we went through.
No.
Yeah.
It's like no. You have been through a lot already. But I just wanted to know. I'm like, okay, because I know you're not picky. You just, know what you want.
And I think
it comes off as picky. And I think that's
that's frustrating.
Yeah.
But I think for a long, like it might come off as she's guarded, but I think it's probably because she has the softest heart than even us. And it looks like, oh no, she's just.
Because we
Jenicka's
wear our
tough.
heart on our sleeve.
Yes, and which is not smart.
My emotions,
that is
no.
terrible.
It is. It is something.
We're not guarding our heart.
Yeah.
And that's how we get hurt.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you didn't have any standards? I feel like I didn't have any standards. I feel like you do.
I have standards.
You have
100%.
standards.
I have standards.
Yes.
But
and
I
that's
didn't.
good. See? I guess I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. Now that I think about it.
It's like, did you just receive whatever kind of love, or was there like a list of like, this is what I want, this is what I, because I know she has her list. I know it. I don't know if I had.
I didn't have a list until a lot. Until
Later.
all the heartbreaks. Until I terca, hard-headed, went through this, that, and continued with that pattern until I said, I'm done with this. I'm
No
done
more.
with it.
I'm done.
I don't want.
I'm done.
I don't want this again. Like what the hell am I doing? Until I went, boom, Janae,
Internal.
what do you need to change? And then that's when everything changed for me.
Yeah.
But I didn't have standards. I didn't be like, oh, I want a guy that this and that. Like I was just like, oh, love. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
same.
Hug me, love me.
Same.
And I feel like it has to do with mom and I were like business partners. She was more of like, it was business with mom. And me faltó mucho amor in that aspect. And of course, dad wasn't there. So it was just always busy, busy, busy.
You're trying to fill that cup.
That if someone was like, oh, I think you're cute. And I was
can
like,
say all the words and
yeah. And now I'm like, which I'm glad that Jenicka doesn't have to go through that. Because Jenicka, I think, saw and was like, hold up.
Heck no.
I'm not, yes.
And I'm proud of her.
Me too.
I really am. Like,
Me too.
Her is in the room.
I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
Because as I am, like, it's crazy. Like, even within myself, I think my life goal was to like, I need to be a wife. I need to be married because I didn't have that. So I wanted to fill that void. And my mommy issues were that I wanted to be the exact opposite of her. I don't want to be anything like her. And it turns out I'm a lot like her.
Yeah.
And then until it was like 2016, 2017 that I was like, wait, Jacqie, what are you here for? Who are you? Because I came into this world alone. I came into this world with a purpose. And I had never asked myself that question until like 2016. And then it's like, shoot, like
a whole new world.
And then you
up.
start investing in yourself and healing yourself. And then that kind of pushes people away from you.
That's crazy because I was on the complete opposite. Like you wanted to be married and be the wife and be the mom and the whole thing, have a stable home. And I was like, I don't know if I never really cared about getting married and this and that. I was like, oh, if it happens, great. I'm like, and I was like, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work next.
Yeah.
For so long. And that's also that's not healthy either. Because when I remember,
so crazy.
Yeah, when I would ask you, I'm like, sister, can you do that? Why? You were being a good wife.
Well, I think it also depends on, because I'm like, we had the same parents and it seems like we probably had the same traumas, but it wasn't because you in mom's life were someone else. You were a different position in her life than I was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is crazy as to like, it's parallel, but it's not.
Right.
That's insane.
I think it's just knowing what we really want and being able to communicate that with our partners and say, this is what I want. This is what I'm willing to give. This is what I expect. What do you expect? It's let's figure this out so that it fits.
And now that you said that, like knowing what you really want. Someone asked me that the other day, like, what do you want? And I'm like, or what do you think you deserve? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, that's crazy to not know. Like, I'm 35 years old. And to like not know. It's freaking crazy. That's crazy. Sorry.
It's okay.
And there's like a sense of urgency because it's crazy. You think you're healed and you're not. There's still so much like to dig deep and heal. And I feel like a lot of it was like a Band-Aid. Like you think having a family and being married, it's like that's healed because that's what I didn't have. But you didn't go through the process. And I see it in Jayla, and I'm like, I need to figure out how to answer this question so that she doesn't. I still have time, thank God. Yeah. So that she doesn't do the same thing because sadly, I'm not trying to talk crap, but her dad is not like showing her. And that even showed like that. I'm like, why is she acting out? She has a father here. He's present and he loves her and he picks her up on the weekends. But it's like he still hasn't gone through his process. So no matter what, in my head, I was like, well, as long as she has a dad, she's going to be good because I didn't have one. But it's not the case.
It's not, yeah.
That's wild. Sorry.
No, it's true. I know, yeah. It's, yeah. I think we're just out here just trying to do our best. We're just trying to do our best, you know?
I didn't really believe in the reparenting yourself.
You have to.
It's nuts, but yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And sometimes in certain cases, like for instance, like Emilio, you know, he never really felt he needed a dad. So it's like he could have had his dad, and what if his dad would have done more damage?
Damage, yeah.
And he was not in his life, and he is who he is. I mean, he's not obviously perfect, but I feel, honestly, I think we should be proud in him too. Like the type of man that he is, given that he didn't have a father and everything we've been through, we could be a lot worse, guys. Like I think about it all the time, like, right? Or no?
I think so.
I feel like things could always be worse. Yeah, and I think
things could always be worse.
Yeah,
but I
don't want to minimize what we've lived.
No,
please God, no more.
No more. No, but I'm saying like we could have gone a complete opposite way given the cards that we were dealt.
I think what you mean, and to add on to what you're saying, is that our hearts are still good.
We can sit here and have this conversation, and as we're speaking, realizing certain things and feel vulnerable. That's like, I feel like that's the first step in healing and changing, is accepting. And we're sitting here having this hard conversation that some people may not understand, that some people may be like, and it sucks because we're talking about our experiences and what we've gone through, but it's hard because our mother is this huge, amazing figure that people think we're talking crap. But if our mom wasn't, and we were able to speak about it, but it's like, why can't we speak about our truth
and still respect her?
Yes, and still respect her and still love her. I have so much more. At the
end of the day, Mom was a normal person.
At the end of the day, yeah, she was a normal person, and she was doing her best, you know,
she really
and
was.
Yeah, and that's why it's yeah.
Do you think she was trying to find a man for the boys? Because that's a big difference. Like, Mikey's very much like Emilio in the sense of like, I didn't need him, but he didn't have a father figure. So there's a lot of things he didn't learn, and he's teaching himself, which is very frustrating.
Maybe had a hard time. I think maybe because she probably didn't know how to raise boys.
But she always did tell me, she's like, they don't need their dad. They have enough mother. With me. She would always say, like, tienen mucha madre, no necesitan eso.
Yeah, but I think
there's a mistake in that.
And she wouldn't sometimes let
because that's too much pressure on herself.
It was too much pressure on her, where she was like, these are my kids. These are my goddamn kids. So she would say, she's like, it's my responsibility. I don't need you to come into my life to raise my kids. I got that. And I need you to come into my life to love me.
That comes from grandpa kicking her out. That comes from the men abusing her, leaving these men like, I don't need men. Fuck men, men eat shit. Like, type, like.
Yeah.
That's where her pride and her ego. Like, I did it all by myself.
And there's a lot of single mothers out there who are doing it by themselves, but that doesn't mean that, and that doesn't mean that if they are like that, it's wrong. I want to correct that, but it's also like, there's a man to teach like there's certain things that as a woman we just don't know.
Exactly.
And I know Mom did her best, but I know that my brothers lacked.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm proud of her still.
Me too. I always say this. I was like, I didn't have the perfect mother, but I had the perfect mother for me. Like the mother that I needed, because if she hadn't been so strict with me and her lessons, I don't know who I would have been today.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I try like to step back and just look at her life and understand her, and she did her best. And that's that, you know.
No, I think that now it's like recognizing that we do have these issues. I don't like calling them issues because it sounds negative. I think they're just a part of us that we, you know, that we recognize.
Yeah.
It's recognizing those parts of us and fixing it and knowing what we deserve.
Exactly. Yeah. Knowing what we deserve, what we want, what we can change, recognizing it, accepting it. And yeah, I mean, it took me a long time to get to this point to be like, what do I really want? You know, and what is my heart really craving? And I think it's because I had to be an adult since I was so little. Now I want someone to take care of me emotionally because I've had to be strong forever, that now at least I can communicate what works for me. But it took a long time to get to that point. And I told Emilio from the very beginning, this is a type of relationship I need. I need to feel just wanted and cared for, and you're going to take care of me so I could just relax, because I've had to be a mother. I've had to be like so grown up desde chiquita. And I think I had to like, I thought I needed to be strong. I thought I was an independent woman. I thought like, yes, that's all cool, but I don't want to be an independent, strong woman that's alone. And what do I have to do to change that?
Yeah.
You know, to be different in my relationships. So, okay, I'm going to start with you, sister. What is something that you're doing now to not fall back into the people pleasing, into the validation, all that stuff? Is there something in particular that you're doing?
I think that I've been in a season of losing a lot of people because they were a safety blanket. So I kind of feel like I didn't necessarily step into like, I'm going to start my healing journey. It kind of just happened.
Yeah.
Because I think that was my biggest fear of like, I don't want to lose any more people. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to keep people. I'm going to be forgiving. I'm going to over communicate, which I feel like sometimes over communicating is I thought communicating was good.
It messes up a lot.
It does.
So there's a such thing as over communicating.
So I'm learning, I'm asking myself, what do I need to communicate? What am I trying to over explain to keep people? I'm learning to say no, which was probably one of the hardest things because it feels so bad to say no and to set a boundary, which because of what we've gone through, sexual abuse, there you don't know how to have boundaries. So I've just barely started learning.
Yeah.
But learning to say no, I'm asking myself when I need to explain and when I don't. And I'm learning not to make excuses for people.
Whoa.
Which is really hard. That is really tough.
Making excuses.
I've made excuses for everyone.
That's hard to pay attention to.
You have to be really aware.
Yeah, you have to be. And I think overall, if anything, I've learned to be more self-aware. Like, how am I acting? And then I start seeing how that person's acting and looking at, really recognizing what red flags are. Yeah. And not excusing those ones. You know, you're like, ooh, like, if it's a red flag, it's a red flag. Like,
don't try to make it pink.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Don't squint your eyes to make it green. Like,
I know.
Like, did this change? Like,
is it yellow or orange?
And you know what? Yeah. For me, I think it's to stop seeing the potential. Like, I'm tired of like...
You can waste years of your life.
Yes, like, I do not want to wait for you to change or like to, you know, I don't know. So, I don't know. Like, I'm just tired of like...
Trying, that was my thing. I thought I could fix everyone and everything. I was like, oh, I'll fix him. I'll fix it.
Maybe he needs me.
He needs me to help him. Like, that's not my responsibility. That's a huge freaking load to carry.
It is.
And it's like, hold up.
It's annoying.
I have my baggage. You have your baggage. Yes, Emilio, can you help me carry my bags? But they're really like not yours. So
I promise they're light.
But it's just like, yeah.
With the amount of bags you bring, girl.
You really,
Chiquis never
sister,
packs
that's
light.
all the amount of luggage that you take on a trip is
It's pretty
probably
crazy.
the baggage you carry.
No,
I know.
honestly, that's a safety.
Yeah.
It's a safety mechanism.
What?
You always want to
Overpacking?
make somewhere. You always want to make something your home.
Yeah, I guess so. It's true.
It's okay. It's beautiful.
No, that's fine.
I take everything. I take it.
You wanna
my
make it your
incense,
home.
and I want to feel at home. Yeah, I need that. If not, then especially with as much as I travel,
Yeah, no.
if I don't, I think I'd probably go a little cray. More than I have this
It
past
causes
year.
anxiety. Yeah. It's triggering for you.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess it's my turn.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it is your turn. What are you doing? What have you done? Because you are already in your feminine
I know you're
space.
already you're married.
Yeah.
What do you feel like you're doing now? Like that you have to learn. Like now that you're married, you're like, okay, now I'm recognizing this. Like,
I am learning to put myself in other people's shoes, in his shoes. If there's something, I could be a little snappy sometimes because of the stress and everything. And he'll tell me, hey, I don't like the way you just talked to me. And I didn't realize that sometimes I could be annoyed and I'm just like, I snap. Like, that's another thing I don't do with everyone else. It's just with my partner. And I have like a short fuse, So I'm like starting to put myself in his shoes and I'm like, okay. And I'm really good with apologizing. Like, I don't want to be prideful. And I check my heart and my ego and I'm like, okay, am I being like egotistic right now? Is this my pride speaking? I literally asked myself that. I'm like, okay, let me step back.
That's good.
And I'll apologize. I'm like, hey, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that and even if he doesn't tell me, I know, when you're not doing something nice. You feel it in your gut.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm intentionally trying to be a bitch or take advantage of him because that's not the case. It's just life happens. And sometimes I'm stressed out, and it's not an excuse, but I will like go and I'll apologize. My therapy is huge. I just realized that I haven't done therapy in like almost 2 months. That's a long time.
Yeah.
And I need to do it at least once a month, twice a month. I just know for me, I just need to be reminded. Even if I'm sitting in my session and I'm like, oh, I know this already. Oh, I know. Like I'm already
subtle reminders.
Yes,
like,
I need that.
Grounded.
Yes, we all need to be guided and reminded and mentored. And that's what I need to stay intentional. So I'm doing that. And also I'm okay with I want to be in my feminine. I'd never felt like that before. So I constantly, I'm like, what can I do to make him feel better, to help the relationship, to really like before it was like, I still want to be me. And yes, I still want to be me, but now it's us.
Yeah.
And but I want that.
But I think it's because you feel safe.
Yeah, I feel safe. So
that's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm just learning to step back and look from the outside in, so that I don't, I like to treat people the way I want to be treated. So that also goes heavily in my relationship. It can't be just one-sided.
Yeah.
And yeah, and yeah. So, anyways,
thank you for coming to our TED Talk.
Yeah, for our TED Talk
session.
Well, I think this is a very beautiful conversation, and thank you, sisters, so much for accepting the invitation, for accepting to speak about this. That could be a little, in a way, triggering to some people. We apologize for that. It's just that's how we are. We're very honest with each other. We have a sister group chat and we talk about all kinds of things in there. And I thought, why not talk about something that I know is very real, that I think we all, even if you did have your parents together in the same household, there are things that we pick up from our parents and from their relationships, and it's something that we need to talk about and feel comfortable talking about that. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and thank you to Jenicka Lopez, to Jacqueline Rivera Campos, Jacqie. Anyways, thank you to my sisters. Thank you to my sisters for coming. I love you. I love you guys so much. I hope you guys learned a few things from us. And I feel like there has to be like a part 2, maybe in the next season.
I still have questions and thoughts.
Me too.
So
I have a lot of things I want to talk about, and I thought I was more prepared. But you guys, like,
it just happens. This is
life
what happens.
Happened. Yeah, this is what it is.
Your sisters.
Yeah. So next time, you know what? We should do it with a little bit of tequila.
On the Overcomfort podcast.
Yeah.
Next.
All right. Yes.
Right?
Overcomfort podcast. Yes,
that.
we'll do it there. We'll finish our conversation. Anyways, guys, love you. Thank you so much. And I will see you on the next episode. Peace out. This is a production of iHeartRadio and My Cultura Podcast Network. Follow us on Instagram at My Cultura Podcasts and follow me, Chiquis, that's CHIQUIS. For more podcasts from iHeart, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your favorite shows.